Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with papers that I purchased at the paper issue store. Anything you purchase there, you use the code Orange Girl and you can save 20% at any time. I am working with this sketch today. This is part of our 30 days of sketches that we are doing over in the paper issues Facebook group. And it has two kind of big photos and then three kind of big squares as its base. I have two of these papers that I'm using by Heidi Swapp. The top paper that you just saw there, the kind of darker pink color, that one is not her, but everything else that you will find in this layout, I think, comes from Heidi Swapp's most recent collections. But the reason I held up the number 2 there was because I wanted to let you know that I didn't want to cut this paper, but I have two of them, and so I know that I can still use them if I want to. So I cut out the inside of the yellow paper thinking that I might use that, the part that I cut out on another layout at some point. And then I cut around the rainbow paper because I wanted to use that rainbow paper as a border paper sometime, likely. I reached into my Heidi Swapp stash and I found this card. I believe this is from the Storyline collection. I'm not really sure. It says, "Stay close to those who feel like sunshine." And I decided to replace one of the photos that's in the sketch with a card instead. And I like the way that's going to look here in a minute. I also was looking to see if there was a different card or if I wanted to use a card behind my photo or anything like that, but I ended up sticking with this. So oftentimes when I grab things out of the paper issue store, I grab the 6x8 paper pads. One of the reasons that I like using the 6x8 paper pad is it's perfect to back cut files. But then also I like using it because in general, the images that are in there, the patterns are a little smaller. And so like if I wanted to, for example, cut out all of those rainbows out of the big rainbow paper, I could also use the little rainbow paper and then I would have lots of different sizes of rainbows, if that makes sense. And so I cut out that particular rainbow thinking that I might use it as an embellishment. So on the sketch, you will see that there are like these three big squares, I guess, as a base. And along the tops of two of them, you have space for a title or a longer title, maybe some journaling, that sort of thing. I decided to kind of stick fairly true to that design at this point, and I'm kind of mounting them on top of each other, and they are low on the page. So there's more white space, so to speak, at the top, even if it's not white space. And that's kind of what it looks like in the sketch to me, so I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to pop up my photo. I decided to go with the black and white as opposed to the colors. I felt the colors were distracting from the layout. I am not doing a ton. I think I may have actually scrapped this picture before. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find it, so I decided to go ahead and scrap it because I am doing this for the Mother Knows Best challenge over in the Paper Issues Facebook feed. And I like this challenge. You can use anything, about your mother, obviously. We just had Mother's Day, so it's kind of that month. But then also it could be things like anything that's the best or stuff like that. So I'll link that description below as well. So I decided that I might use some of these cute, I love these gorgeous flowers, and I thought I might use these. There are two big spots for embellishment on the sketch. One is to the bottom left of the photo that's on the left, which mine is a card, and the other is the top right of the photo that's on the right. And so so that's one element that I wanted to kind of do here. So I'm kind of just auditioning some of these things and trying to figure out what fits best. I end up not going with quite as many florals, and I try out some other things too. There's these little circles that have things like one says New York, one says, and they're like, they look like a post kind of, like if you get a letter in the mail where it's postmarked, it kind of looks like that sort of. Um, so I had some of those, and then what else did I pull out? I found a little sunshine, that's a circle, and all of these are little embellishments that came in the Heidi Swapp collection, and I'm trying to use them, and I don't use very many of them in the end. So you're seeing me kind of, this is for real, the process. So I really lay all of this stuff out and go back and forth oftentimes. Because I had the black and white photo, and I was thinking about using those black alphas, I decided that I wanted some more black and white on the layout. So I'm going to put some black and white behind my photo. You saw that polka dot paper come out. I'm going to have a rather short title, and so because of that, on the sketch, it's kind of a longer title. So what I decided to do was I wanted something, some sort of embellishment up in the upper left where the two papers meet, the yellow paper and the rainbow paper. I wanted something up there where they meet, and so I decided to pull out my die cut machine, and I grabbed that polka dot paper and then another kind of bright pink paper, and I believe these are all from the 6x8 paper pad, and I'm going to put, I think I do one more, like a, yeah, this yellow color, kind of a mustard color, which is the same color as, similar to the color of the sunshines in my background paper, but also very much like the card that I used in place of a picture. So I end up going with that, and I like the way those little tabs look up there at the top. At one point I thought I might put this yellow behind the photo too, but I decided that was just a little too much yellow. Okay, so at this point, I haven't really glued a lot of stuff down, other than I think I glued those 3 papers down, my background papers, but nothing else is glued because I know I'm going to want to do some stitching here. So I decided to make Chicago with Mom my title, and we're at the show Chicago, but we are not in Chicago, and so I explained that kind of in my journaling here, which I'll get to in a second. So I tried to find some more pops of black and white, and so you saw me cutting that paper and such. Then I decided that I liked it, but it didn't fit my style very well. So I decided to do one more paper, more like a border around the whole thing. 2 reasons. One, like I said, it didn't kind of fit my style very well, and I wanted to make it look like something that I would make and not just something from a sketch. Although I like the sketch, I wanted to add something else. This kind of sticks with the sketch by adding the border, so that was one of the reasons. But then the other reason that I went ahead and did this with adding the border was because I wanted a little bit more of that kind of dark pink. I felt like I thought I liked the way that it looked with the rainbows because it matches so well, and I did, but look how much better it looks now that I put that pink border around the whole thing. It just makes the whole thing kind of gel a little bit better. So I pulled out the black and white flower, and I wanted to use that as another pop of black over on the left. So this whole time I've been trying to figure out a way to add some more black and white. That flower, along with the black and white paper that I made to be behind my photo, behind the card, upper left corner as one of those tabs, really helped bring some black and white across the page. Then, when I went ahead and I set up my journaling on my computer, I made one of the journaling pieces, it's not really a journaling, I made it part of my title. I made it a bigger font, and I put it on a black background. So it was a black background with white type, and that's part of my title then. So it says, Chicago with Mom, no place I'd rather be. And then my journaling, I just cut up, and it says, Mom and I went to the Paramount Theater right here in Cedar Rapids to see Chicago together. It was raining, but it was still just what we needed. Hashtag fun, hashtag, and all that jazz, which is very similar to what I actually put on my Instagram when I Instagrammed this photo. So after I zipped my sewing machine around the edges of all of those different layers, I went ahead and ripped some of those, roughed them up a little bit more. That's another thing that I did to make it kind of more my style. I'm adding some gold thread. Um, I don't know if you saw this, but I have 2 arrows that are below my card there, and they have some gold in them. And so I thought, oh, I'm just going to add a little bit more gold. It's kind of neutral. It doesn't, I thought about using black, but I just decided that I really like this gold. It's kind of hard to work with gold thread, but I like it. And so I'm putting some gold thread. I think I put it behind the photo, behind the title, behind the flowers, I think, on either side of the photos. And that then really makes it look a little bit more like something that I would create, even though I started with a sketch, and it still stayed true to the sketch, in my opinion. So yeah, so that I'm about done with this. This was taken, let's see, 2018, and it was a few months after my father had passed away. And so it was nice for my mom and I to get out together, doing something that we love, and still grieving definitely for the death of my father. But it was a nice time together. So I'm gonna add some Nouveau Drops. These are from the vintage collection that they have, and I think this came actually in my a kit, maybe the April kit, and I actually that top paper, that kind of scalloped paper, also came from that kit. But anyway, I love these. This color I think is called Peachy Keen, and then I added some black off camera because I felt like it needed some more black, and I added some black Nouveau Drops to give it a few more little pops of black. And then I called it done. So yeah, I really like the way this ended up. I love all the sketches. I have some more that I've saved that I'm gonna try to take care of and do coming up here, but I really enjoyed this whole fun activity. So thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.